I'm Jack Patty, and this is the Senior Minute, successfully serving seniors.
Welcome to another episode of the Senior Services Commission's The Senior Minute. My name is Martin Rivers, and today we have with us Ms. Kim Gooch, Senior Advocate. So welcome, Ms. Gooch. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Can you just start by telling a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm a lifelong Kentuckian. Grew up down on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. I've lived in Kentucky most of my life. Still do, live in Prospect now after leaving Lexington just a short time ago to help out with grandchildren, and I make my journey from Prospect back down to the border to help out with the family farm still to this day. So in between the birth and now, I have worked in many aspects of senior care, including home care, and worked for several senior living communities on different care levels. So that's kind of my reason for putting together this information that I'm going to share with you today.
Okay. So there's sort of a little phrase that you've told me about, are your ducks in a row? We'll get to more detail about the ducks in the row, but what made you decide to embark on this project?
Well, it's one of those things, I think you have something that sometimes just won't leave you alone, and this was one of those things for me. But all through my work life, I saw kind of repetitive patterns. Some people would say that those are problems. I would just say that they're patterns, and mostly they come from people not planning well. So that's one of the reasons. I think that if we can educate people, maybe they'll get to these situations where they feel confident moving forward and not have to make decisions when there's crisis going on. So that's the main reason, just because I've seen so many families go through the same sorts of things, and I want to help them if I can. And from a personal standpoint, my grandmother, whom I was really close to growing up, my paternal grandmother, she spent some time in a skilled nursing facility as a result of Alzheimer's. And so we learned a lot as a family when she was going through that and we were going through that. Some things that were good about that experience and some things that were not so good about that experience. So I think I'd like to share some of that. And then I have a strong faith, and so I think part of the reason for my doing this is because, again, I feel really called to share the information and try to be helpful if I can.
Well, that's great. That sounds great. Can you give a quick overview of what this project provides and what are your ducks in a row means? Yes.
So, ducks in a row simply means to try to get organized and prepared for something that's going to happen in the future. So that's kind of what the guidebook is all about. And so each letter, again, has a chapter. So the D, beginning with D, we talk about decisions that seniors need to have made, hopefully now, so that the decisions don't have to be made in a crisis later on. Things like advance directives, powers of attorney, plans for your dependents and pets, things of that nature. Then the U in Ducks in a Row stands for the gathering of useful documents. So if you are going to apply for admission to a senior living community or benefits of some sort, you're going to need a certain level of documentation of your life. So birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce decrees, service records, things of that nature. And so we just help you pull all those together in the U, the useful documents section. And then C is an educational chapter because I see lots of families coming in thinking, oh, I want to, I want to age in place, or I want help at home, or I want to move into a community. But then we start talking about things like personal care or assisted living or skilled care or continuous care communities or home care or home health care. They're all different categories, and there's all different kinds of programs involved in all those. So C is an educational chapter about those care settings. And then K is a section that deals with getting your kids and kin on the same page. And we all know that we have that relative that always has an opinion about how we should do something, right? But they're a blessing. Kids and kin are a blessing usually. So Let's just try to share with them all of our decisions, all of our thoughts. Let's talk to them about their wishes and plans, and see if we can all get on the same page so that we can support one another and live peacefully through our aging process. So that's the K. The S is probably one of the biggest reasons I decided to do this whole project in the first place. So S stands for the story of you. There's only one you. You're unique. Your generational family needs to know about you, needs to know your life lessons. So for that reasons, I think you should make your scrapbook and leave it so the world knows who you are, especially those that care about you, your family. But beyond that, if you are in a situation where you need care, especially because you're struggling with memory issues, your story becomes paramount in the ability for your caregiver to give you really dignified and compassionate care and support. So I think it's just of utmost importance to get your story down. So that's the S. So now we're all the way through ducks. So NI doesn't have anything, and then RO, R stands for Rapid Response File. So a lot of our stuff is electronic these days, but if you have an emergency in your home, any responder, whether it's an EMT, a fireman, they need a certain amount of information as quickly as possible. So we help you build a rapid response file and encourage you to keep some of that with you at all times. So that's what the R is about. And then O is online. So all of us go online every day for some reason. I change passwords almost every day. So O is just about how to keep all of that better organized, better protected, and to protect yourself from getting entangled if you're online. So a little bit of education about that. And then W is where we talk about well done. So we all want to have a life that's well lived, we want to love well, and we want to end well. And so what does that look like? What kind of celebration do we want? For starters, what are our thoughts about what happens after we're gone? So that chapter talks about just living in a state of wellness, really well done, well living.
So this sounds like it's in a book. Where can the book be found?
Well, currently you can visit our website. It's called ducksinarowguide.com, and you'll be able to find out information about purchasing the book, some other materials that may help you implement some of the ideas in the book. And then also if you're interested in having a class for a group of your friends or your church or something of that nature, you can find some information about how to get it to you that way.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Gooch.
Thank you for having
This is a good
me.
introduction. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Senior Minute.